My name's Nancy McPhee. Welcome. It is so great to be here. I was so humbled when I was asked to come and to share my story with you and my journey with you. And I really wanted it to be a presentation where we're going to interact, and as much as you learn about me and my journey with how a 5-year-old totally changed my life and made me an agent for change. I hope it inspires you, and I hope to learn from you how you want to make the world a better place by being an agent for change. This is Stephen when he was around 5. It was a very interesting journey 17 years ago when my husband and I walked into the Peter Lougheed Hospital to adopt this little boy. The normal couple thing, we're so excited. We want to be really good parents for him. We want to raise him to be the best he can be. And little did we know at the age of 5 he was going to turn our world completely upside down, and we would form a charity that we never dreamed could ever happen because of his inspiration. He's a very humble young man. He was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4. At the age of 5, he overheard my husband and I talking about a homeless man on the front of the newspaper. We were in the kitchen and he was in the other room playing. And I was saying, I felt really sad, like in this province, how can somebody be homeless? And who is this fellow? And, you know, where's his family? It's Christmas. And I just really was feeling sad to see this person. And Stephen came into the kitchen from the other room, and he just looked at me and he said, "Mommy, are there kids on the street?" And like I was stunned, first of all, because children with autism don't usually ask those kind of questions. And the second reason was that how do you answer a 5-year-old and tell him that, yeah, there are people who lose their homes? And so I tried my best to explain that there are families that have hard times and lose their homes. And he said, "So the kids don't have their own bed?" And I go, "No, they go to a shelter." And he didn't even hesitate. He said, "Mommy, I need to help them." And I was shocked, I'll be really honest. I didn't know what to say. And I said, "Well, how do you want to help them?" Well, he didn't know. So a few weeks later, he came back and he said, "I want to make packbacks." He didn't have front teeth. So he was like, "I want to make packbacks." I'm like, "Oh, for the kids?" And he said, "Yes." So I said, "Okay, what do you want to put in the packbacks?" So we were excited for 2 reasons. Number one, that he was doing something out of the box of what is normally characteristic of a child with autism. And 2, that he wanted to help people. And so as a family on our kitchen floor, we made 15 backpacks. And because he was autistic, I know that he's a visual learner, so I phoned in from the cold and said I wanted to come down Christmas Eve as a family and deliver these backpacks. And I said, he's very, very shy, so I only want him to deliver 1, and you can keep the rest, right, and deliver them after. And so that's how Stephen's Backpacks was born, and it was totally Stephen's idea. So a little bit about me. For 4 years, I was National Director of Operation Christmas Child. Anybody know about the Shoebox program, Operation Christmas Child? I was the National Director for 4 years and traveled all across Canada setting up new centers, and that's how I got a lot of my background and my passion for reaching out to kids in need. I'm now the Executive Director of Stephen's Backpacks, and believe me, that keeps me really busy. Something interesting about me, my dad was a demolition expert in the Air Force, and I lived on the island of Sardinia in the Mediterranean Sea for 4 years and spoke fluent Italian before I spoke English. So that's an interesting fact about me. Now I would love for you guys to maybe break into groups of 2 and tell each other something interesting about you and kind of why you're here and a little bit of your background and what makes you a leader and an agent for change. Okay, that's awesome, you guys. We can continue your discussions later. That is amazing. I'm sure you found out something really interesting about people beside you that you didn't know. And you know what? Really, that's a big part of the journey, finding out something interesting about people we don't know as we come together. And that's how the journey begins. Now I'd like to share something very special with you. It's the video. This particular picture was taken when I think we hit 3,000 backpacks, and he was sure a happy little boy. Today we do over 4,000 backpacks a year and 1,000 backpacks for back to school, 15,000 pairs of new running shoes, and we've helped 32 families off the street into brand new furnished apartments. So that's a little bit about us. If we could play the video, that would be awesome.
Jim and Nancy McPhee were talking about a homeless man pictured in a Calgary newspaper. They were having a typical conversation, wondering who he was and where his family might be at that time of year. Their 5-year-old son, Stephen, asked a question that would change their lives. "Are there kids on the street, Mummy?" His mother confirmed that yes, there are children without homes. Stephen blurted out, "Mummy, I want to help them." And a few weeks later, Stephen came to his parents and said he had decided he wanted to make backpacks. The McPhees went out and purchased 15 backpacks and filled them with all sorts of wonderful items. Because of Stephen's diagnosis of autism, his parents knew he was a visual learner and a very concrete thinker and wanted to experience handing out the backpacks. Stephen's parents contacted the In From the Cold organization, and on Christmas Eve of 2006, Stephen presented his first backpacks at the shelter to a 16-year-old boy with Down syndrome. Stephen's Backpack Society became a registered charity in 2008, and since it began, the All-Volunteer Society has distributed tens of thousands of backpacks and other gifts of hope to needy children. The annual Christmas Backpacks campaign distributes an average of 4,000 backpacks per year to homeless kids in Alberta shelters, as well as to children in First Nations communities. Now, Stephen's Backpacks fills backpacks all year round, as Christmas gifts, back-to-school backpacks, and assisting children in need in our community every day. And Stephen's Backpack Society never stands still. From their many contacts with needy children and families, 3 other programs have evolved. Footprints, which provides new shoes to homeless and at-risk students starting back to school. Project Hope, which has helped 31 families move out of shelters and into the next chapter of their life with new furniture and all move-in necessities. And most recently, the Global Citizen Project, which encourages school children to become global citizens, to pursue an interest in the environment, in anti-bullying, in homelessness, and in the philosophy of philanthropic ways to make the world we live in a better place. Over the past 10 years, Stephen's Backpacks has delivered hope and changed the hearts of 40,000 children and youth across our province.
So I'd like to tell you a little bit about some of our programs, and the best way to describe the program, I'm going to tell you a story. And the most wonderful thing about whatever your passion is and whatever it is you decide to become an agent of change for, remember the stories that you learn along the way, because those are the foundation of your charity or your passion. Stories are so important because people relate to what you're doing so much better. So I'm going to tell you a story about, we went down in August to In From the Cold, and we were doing our Footprints program. And that's where you give 2 pairs of shoes. You give an indoor pair and an outdoor pair of shoes. And while we were there was this little boy. His name was Emmanuel. And he was so excited, and I couldn't understand why he was so excited, like it was a pair of running shoes. And the executive director told us after that his mom, and who was expecting, and had another child younger than Emmanuel, and Emmanuel had fled from a very violent situation, and that he had never had a new pair of shoes in his life. About a week later, the executive director phoned me from In From the Cold. I knew her very well, and she said, "You're not going to believe it. Emmanuel has taken one of the pairs of shoes and put them under his pillow, and the other pair he's wearing, and he won't take them off." Like at night when he goes to bed, he's like, no, I'm not taking them off. Like somebody might take these, right? And so his mom said, Emmanuel, you got to take these shoes off. Like you're wearing these outside. And so she said, they're getting dirty. So he went to the washroom and got his toothbrush and he was cleaning his shoes. It was more important they stayed on his feet because he wasn't going to lose these shoes. So the executive director of the In From the Cold said to them, we're really excited. We found an apartment for you guys. This was a few days later. And so Emmanuel's like, can I take my shoes with me? Like immediately he thought, I'm gonna have to trade off. If I get a house, I'm gonna have to give up the shoes. I mean, think about this for a minute, guys. This is Calgary. This is an actual little boy in Calgary that has never had a new pair of shoes and thinks he has to give them up because he's got a home. So the executive director phoned me and she said, do you think you could help this family out? Because, you know, we're kind of short on funds and they don't have any furniture, they don't have anything. And so I said, sure, leave it with me. We don't have any money left either. We just did our backpack program. But let me phone some of my corporate sponsors. Let me phone some of my friends. And let's see what we can do. That's the beauty of relationships. I phoned MacArthur Furniture. They donated a $5,000 bedroom suite for Mom. The mom of MacArthur Furniture went out and bought a whole layette for the baby in a neutral color. Then they gave us a crib that folds into a bed. They donated bunk beds. We went out and bought all the bedding. TransCanada came on board. They dedicated their whole Christmas party to that family. They bought all the Christmas presents. They got all the sizes of the kids. They bought all the clothes. Superstore donated all the food. So we go with a team of like 26 people, and we put pictures on the walls. We cleaned the place. We put the beds up. We put the bedding on. We put the Christmas tree up and all the decorations. We had presents under the tree. We had dishes in the cupboard. We had food in the cupboards, food in the fridge, flowers on the table for Mom, toys for the kids in the bedroom, presents in Mom's closet, the layette for the baby. And they had taken her out for the day. They had taken them, I think, to the zoo. So imagine what happened when she came home. The social worker was with her. The little boy walks in because it's an alcove and she's helping one of the other kids off with his shoes. Emmanuel runs in and runs around the corner and he comes running back and he goes, Mom, we've got a TV, we've got furniture, we've got a Christmas tree, we've got presents. Because when we went in there was 2 mattresses, a basket with a few broken toys in it, and 1 package of Itchabed in the cupboard. That was it. So the little boy comes running and he's all excited and he's like, Mommy, 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 look at all the stuff we've got. And she goes, quick, Emmanuel, grab your coat, we're in the wrong apartment. Like she had no idea that that could be for her. This mom has now gone back to school. She has moved into an even nicer apartment. She is supporting all 3, she had her baby, she is supporting all 3 of her children, and all 3 of those kids are out of the violent situation they were in, healthy and moving forward. And that started with a little seed. Can you help, Nancy? Can you phone around and see if you can help? And you know what? It's amazing, you guys. When you ask people for help, they want to help for help. They want to help. They're looking for ways to help, especially at Christmas time. It's wonderful. This is Stephen with another family. By the way, Stephen loves babies. Every time we do backpacks, he's in the baby section. He loves babies, and this is a family that we helped, and this is her newborn baby, and he was just thrilled to be able to hold the baby. This is one of our backpack distributions that we did, and one of Stephen's favorite words is dream out loud. He does dream out loud. Like no matter what, I was saying every year we had to look for a warehouse because we were getting bigger and bigger. And every year for 6 weeks we had moved in and then I had to move stuff into storage and then move back. So Stephen's like, Mom, don't give up, dream out loud. We're gonna get a warehouse. Somebody's gonna give us a warehouse. I'm like, are you kidding me? Who gives anybody a warehouse nowadays, right? We're like, we need 4,000 square feet. Sure enough, last year we got a warehouse donated, 4,000 square feet in Calgary, downtown Calgary. Crazy. He's quite a dreamer. So we're going to get you together again. And I want you to use your Post-it notes. I want you to tell me, I've told you who inspired me. It can be anybody. It can be your parents. It can be a friend. It could be a situation that you saw. It could be just something that came from your heart. I want to know who inspired you to be an agent for change, because that's critical. That is so critical, because you will inspire people to become agents for change. So get in your groups, and once you have them filled out, one person from each group, just put it up on the board there and make sure you read it as you put it up so we can all hear.
My creative writing teacher,
My creative writing teacher,
Mr. Jeffrey,
Mr. Jeffrey,
as well as my
grandfather,
who was a high-ranking leader with the Air Force.
high-ranking leader with the Air Force. Perfect. You want to put that up there?
My mom inspired me.
My mom, I love that one. Any more over here? Bring them over.
For me, my mom inspired me to become an agent of change, so to speak, because she is such an amazing woman in my eyes.
Aw, nice. Another great mom.
My dad
My dad, love it.
and my teacher told me that I could be the next Tyler. That's the guy who started Pink Day.
I love it. Excellent, thank you. Any more over here? Up we come, let's read them.
My hockey coach and the captain of our team.
Hockey coach and the captain of our team, sports people, inspired you.
My friends who I made after stepping out of my comfort zone.
My friends who I made after stepping out of my comfort zone. I like that one a lot.
We got my parents, my leadership teacher, myself.
Every single group today, it was mostly about family that inspired and moved people forward. But you know, I really believe that sometimes teachers you meet and friends you meet are like family. I don't think family sometimes necessarily has to be blood connected. I think that our family grows. I look at Stephen's Backpacks as a family. All our corporate sponsors we've had on board for like 8-9 years. And they know us. They know our family. It's a relationship. So that's very exciting. Okay, next one. What does it take to be an agent of change? Courage, selflessness, patience. Well, for me, it's not just Stephen, actually. We've adopted 2 children. Stephen's sister, Brianne, was 4 when we adopted her. And she was 7 when she wrote her first letter to help Stephen. They were like 2 peas in a pod. She's like, what a good idea. And so she's writing this corporate letter. And she is now 21, becoming a teacher. And she's the director of social media for Stephen's Backpacks and will one day be executive director. And she is amazing. So, I mean, she's another one that inspired me to be an agent for change because it takes a village. You can't be an agent for change on your own. You need people to help you make that change. What does it take for you to be an agent of change? What does it take? Have you got it?
Yeah.
What's yours? Wanting to be involved, huge.
Selfless.
Selflessness, big one.
Not giving up, dreaming big, working with others. Ambition, empathy.
Empathy. Hope, love it. Any other words that want to jump out here?
I said dedication 100%. If you don't have dedication, you don't got anything.
You got it. Dedication is, I think,
All these? Okay.
dedication and passion, number 1.
Courage, spirit, passion.
Kindness, empathy, leadership, positivity, and dedication.
Kindness, leadership, positivity, dedication. Excellent. You guys have it. You've nailed it.
Compassion, love for others.
Share your time.
Yeah, time. Oh, that's a huge one. Does it ever take a lot of time?
Courage and kindness. Confidence, courage, responsibility, and dedication.
Excellent.
Positive outlook on life and being kind. Dedication, confidence, passion, love, and confidence. I wrote that.
Confidence, dedication. So group similarities, there was a lot of similarities up there. Passion, commitment, empathy, kindness. For me, what do I take away from this? For me, this has probably been the hardest year of our life doing this charity. Stephen lost his dad May 4th last year, and I lost my husband, and we lost the president of Stephen's Backpacks. We weren't sure what we were going to do. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to make another backpack. Losing Stephen's dad, I wasn't sure how that was going to impact him or if he would even want to carry on. It's a very traumatic time when you lose somebody that you love. And I was amazed. Like, he was like, no, Mom, we're going to do the backpacks. And we did 4,000 backpacks. And we also did a huge celebration to celebrate a year. My husband died on May 4th. And we did a huge celebration up at Apple Creek, and we raised $20,000 for homeless kids. So that's how we chose to push through that mountain. So yeah, what does it take to be an agent of change? Courage, digging deep sometimes, just when you don't even want to, but the passion is bigger. Next slide. Okay, how do you inspire others? I've got this great idea. I want to change the world. How do I inspire people to help me? How do I inspire people? Come on, you guys, get on board with what I want to do. Yeah, tell someone. Yeah, perfect. Advertising, tell lots of people. I'm really passionate about this, but I need help. I'm one person. How do we inspire others? Believing that you can inspire. Yep, perfect. Have a good attitude towards them.
Be an example.
Be an example. Be a role model. Absolutely. Oh, I like that one. Encouraging people to step out of their comfort zone and take risks. I like that one a lot.
By showing them that it's possible.
By showing them it's possible. Be a role model. The other thing to inspire people is, I can't say this enough, be true to your core values of what you start your mission with. For instance, when we started Stephen's Backpacks, people said to me, you know, it won't always be grassroots. This is an amazing charity. It's going to get really big, and you're going to need to hire people. I said, no. If I have to hire people, I'm not going to be doing this charity, because I want 97 cents on the dollar to go to the kids, not 3 cents on the dollar going to the kids. So I made it a mandate. That's kind of a mandate in our board. We're not hiring people. We have 500 volunteers. People love to come out as a family and volunteer. We have 350 corporate sponsors that have been with us like for such a long period of time. And that comes from building relationships, keeping true to your core values, who you are and what you started out as. We've always had this. People know us. They see that, Stephen's Backpacks. Dream out loud, buzzword, dream out loud. Everybody goes, Stephen's Backpacks. Stephen's favorite thing to say, dream out loud, Mom. Mom, why did you believe that's going to happen? Dream out loud. Anyway, and it usually comes true too. So how do we inspire others to become their own agents? Any more comments over here?
Tell your story, encourage others, practice your integrity.
Practice your integrity. Perfect. I love that one.
If you're a true agent of change, everything you do will help others to follow you and join in with your ideas of change.
Help others to follow you. Perfect.
Encouraging others by touching their hearts. Make the inspiration personal.
Absolutely. Make sure there's a personal story. Make sure there's a personal story that people can relate to. Why should I help people that need water? Well, let me tell you a story. I went to Nicaragua and I saw some, and this is a true story actually. I went to Nicaragua and I saw some horrible wells there that were like years old. These people needed fresh water. Tell a story with your passion. The relationships, I love that up there as well. You've got to be in relationship when you're trying to get people to understand what you are trying to change in the world. And I don't mean by, a lot of charities, it's just like, give me the check. And for me, it's not just give me the check. One of our biggest corporate sponsors who has cared for us for a very, very long time, I've been in relationships with them for like 3, 4, 5 years, and they know our family. He went and visited my husband at the hospice. It wasn't just, give me your money, I'm out of here. I mean, it's you inspire others to become agents for change because you're real, because you're grassroots, and because your cause is important. And a lot of times people just need to know, what is it you're trying to change in the world? What is it that I can do to help you? Like, we have so many people say, just tell me when I can come out, whatever time of year, like just let us know. And so that's how you inspire others, by just being yourself in your passionate role to make the change you want to make. Okay, on to the next one. You guys are here. You want to be leaders. You want to make a change. Why does it matter? Why do we want to make a change? If you don't do it, who's going to do it? Why does it matter? Why is being a leader and being at this conference so important? You're bettering yourselves. You're learning more about how you can impact your community and impact the world around you. Why is that important? Change the world to be better, and because we care.
Make people feel included to make a positive impact.
Oh, I like that one. Make people feel included to make positive impact. I love that one.
We are the future.
We are the future.
We are the ones that shape it.
We're the ones that shape it.
We can either destroy the future or we can shape it for the better.
We can either destroy the future or shape it for the better. We all have a choice, don't we? That's why it matters.
Make the world a better place and for people to see how many leaders are actually out there.
How many leaders are out there? I see lots of them right in front of me now. I've seen so many today. I love it. It's very inspiring, actually.
Because the world needs them to move forward.
We need leaders to move forward, for sure. Yes?
No matter how great the world is, it can always be made better.
No matter how great the world is, it can always be made better. Absolutely.
To impact a better future, to create a positive community.
Positive community. Yeah, that's why it matters.
Without agents of change, the world will stay the same.
Without agents of change, the world will stay the same. That reminds me of an expression: if nothing changes, everything stays the same. Excellent.
Quote,
I love it. The future. That's why you're doing it. That's why you're doing it, because change needs to come. Change is a great thing, and you are the leaders of the future and the leaders of today. Becoming agents of change, we are not only able to better ourselves,
but push others to do so as well.
but push others to do so as well. It's true. It's drops in the ocean. And you know what happens when there's drops in the ocean? There's ripples. A lasting effect. Absolutely. A legacy. A legacy lives on. For me, that's why we do what we do. We're a very humble family. Stephen's a very humble boy. He has won more awards than I can tell. Leadership, Me to We, Youth in Action, flew him to Toronto. The Queen has written him a letter, the Governor General, our premiers, he got the Queen's Jubilee Award. Whenever that happens, the media will talk to him and he will always turn it back to the children. Well, I hope now more people know that kids need their own homes and their own beds. And for Stephen, that is just something unfathomable, that a child has to go to bed in a shelter. He cannot understand that, and he wants to change it. And the very last video, we had a big celebration on May 4th, which was, my husband passed away on Star Wars Day. And it had been a year, so we had a big, huge celebration up at Apple Creek to raise funds. And it was amazing because Stephen's whole thoughts are, I'm not going to stop doing this until you tell me there are no more kids that don't have their own beds. Stephen thinks in very simplistic terms, but he will keep doing this. I got my work cut out for me, trust me. He won't let me ever give up. Okay, next one. Now you don't have to break into groups. I just want everybody to write down one word that describes an agent of change, a dreamer, a doer, bold, courageous, passionate. Passionate's my favorite one. Committed. Really believe that's what you are here for. You are here to make a change. And don't lose sight of that. And when the storms come up and the people come up and say, no, that's not important. It is important. Never, ever, ever change. You are a leader. You are an agent of change. And your passion is your passion. And don't let anybody rob you of it. Hopeful, love it.
I said satisfied.
Satisfied. Doesn't it feel great when you help somebody? Driven. Any more? Be yourself. Absolutely. People see real. Be genuine, because people can see right through a phony sales pitch. Be yourself. Tell a real story. Say it from here. Compassionate. Perfect. Be humble. Practical. Yeah, practical. Keep your message simple and practical. I like that one. Excellent. Heartfelt. More. Kind. You got to be kind. Passionate, kind, compassionate. That's what it takes to be an agent of change. Next one. One of the things I would like to do is give you some time to ask questions. Yes?
How old is Stephen now?
17. Yeah, he actually just passed his, you know how you do the insurance driving part? He actually just passed the first part. So now he has to go get the learners. So we're going to work on that this summer. Thank you. Yeah, 17. Big boy. Taller than me. He keeps telling me I'm shrinking, but it's not true. He's just getting taller. Any other questions about our charity or challenges we have, or?
What's the story behind the hat?
Oh, that's a very good point. Okay, I'll use your hat. The story behind the hat is my husband wore this hat everywhere. And he's very tall, and he fought cancer for 14 years, so he's very tall and very thin. And he was a Scotsman with a fabulous Scottish accent. And he was so committed to the community, and he was so involved, and the community loved him. There was over 500 people at his celebration when he passed away. And the stories that were told, and how he touched other people's lives, and how he always left a room brighter than he found it. And it's true. When he was very, very sick the last Christmas, he got in the car and came down to the warehouse and walked in and just had enough energy to say, "Thank you for supporting my son and his passion." Got back in the car and went home. And that's the kind of man he was. So our mayor has made May the 4th Stephen's Backpacks Yellow Hat Day, and then lit up City Hall in yellow when we were doing this big event, which was just so overwhelming and very beautiful. The yellow hat now is significant to Stephen's Backpacks as agent for change, lighting up your community. So now the yellow hat has become something totally different, and that is get involved, take action, be an agent of change. It's not just about making backpacks or remembering Jim McPhee or thinking about Stephen's Backpacks or thinking about Stephen and his story. This yellow hat is going to be very significant in Airdrie in years to come, because it is significant of we as committed citizens, or wherever you live, lighting up your community. And that's what we're called to do. It gets pretty dark in our world when we start looking at some of the news items and things like that. And you know what? Every one of us can light up our community in a small way, in a big way. The most important thing is you make a way. Thank you for your time today. You guys are amazing.